Good evening. The famous quote says, "Life is the train, not the station." And if that is true, travelers between Toronto and Ottawa last night did a whole lot of living and waiting. A Via Rail trip turned into an overnight ordeal for dozens of passengers after a mechanical failure and an attempted rescue left trains and passengers stranded in Brockville for hours. One train left Toronto around 6:30 last night, bound for Ottawa, but it got stuck just outside of Brockville station. Did not arrive at the station until around 3:30 in the morning, and passengers didn't get to Ottawa until noon today. CTV's Katelyn Wilson joins us live now with more on how this all went so wrong. Katelyn.
Yeah, Patricia, around 300 passengers were impacted, and while they say staff did everything they could, they tell us not knowing when or if they would ever get moving again was the hardest part.
After nearly 17 hours of travel, Jade Schofield is finally in Ottawa.
I am exhausted. I am excited to get to a hotel and sleep.
She left Toronto just before 7 Wednesday night, expecting to arrive by 11 p.m. But 2 hours into her trip, the train came to a halt just outside of Brockville, stopping to help another train that had broken down because of a mechanical failure.
Through that, we found out that that train had actually been sat there for a number of hours with no light, no heat, no washrooms, and it was a Toronto-bound train.
At one point, 3 trains were involved. Those traveling to Ottawa all ended up on one train that hooked onto the stalled train and pulled it to Brockville station several hours later.
But then there was an issue with disconnecting it, so we ended up stranded essentially, and of course blocking the tracks.
And with engineering crews at the end of their shift, passengers say they had no choice but to wait.
I think it was just being left in the dark that irked people the most.
Sophie Labell was also on the train. She says people tried to sleep with no blankets or pillows and no clear timeline.
There was a sense of camaraderie and people were trying to sleep on the floor and they did bring snacks. It's just the absolute lack of transparency.
By morning, with no available buses, passengers were told to find their own transportation, but then Via Rail managed to get them on a regularly scheduled train, arriving in Ottawa at noon.
Via Rail wants to offer our deepest apologies for these events. This is definitely not the level of service that our passengers expect from us, and it's absolutely not the level of service that we want to offer.
Via Rail is offering a full refund along with a travel credit towards a future trip.
Even though I've lost a hotel night, I've lost a day's work, so I don't know if it really, from a financial perspective, weighs it out.
And after a night of uncertainty, Labell has just one plan left for the day.
Bye. I'm going to bed.
Via Rail says all passengers have now arrived at their final destinations, and the company is reviewing what went wrong, including how to respond to these events to help ensure it doesn't happen again.